Welcome, everyone. My name is William Medemusa, and I'm here with Hassani Turner and Julian Chambers. We're here today representing American Express, and we're excited that you chose to join us in today's session.
That's right, William. And here's a fun fact. With our combined years of experience, for today's session, you're getting a total of 20 plus years of experience at American Express. I think that makes us interesting enough, don't you think?
Absolutely. We encourage you to scan the QR code on your screen to connect with us on LinkedIn. We'd love to stay connected.
All right, let's get started. We're excited to be here to share with you about Agile, a framework for increasing speed to value. Over the course of the workshop, we're going to demonstrate some of the key Agile ceremonies and how we can use them and apply them to our projects or even our everyday life. So let's jump in.
Okay, what if I told you that the same methods, mindset, and activities that we use to develop and deliver technology products and solutions at American Express can also be used for your own life? What's interesting is that a lot of the Agile activities that we use here at American Express to increase speed to value in product development are also things that you already use. Agile thinking can help you with everyday tasks, such as selecting what to work on each day or prioritizing whether you choose a specific project over another. Agile is a mindset that provides us with, number one, transparency by allowing us to see clearly what we need to do. Number two, evaluation to talk about what needs to improve in the process. And number three, adaptation to make changes needed to improve week by week. And all of this combined give us the autonomy to think clearly, move quickly, and achieve the best value or result.
So what is Agile? Agile is a mindset and a methodology to deliver small amounts of value much quicker. It's designed to build efficiencies into a system to improve processes and outcomes over time. In the past, video games would come out once a year, right? Examples like football video game series would release a new version every year, like version 1.1, 2.0, 3.5, and so on. And with each new version, they would have a new feature, but you would have to wait a whole year until the next update. Products were so large that it would take multiple years to be released to our customers. And even then, sometimes the final product wasn't even what they wanted. Similar to the image on the table on the top is what I'm talking about. Fast forward to now, we are producing updates and you're seeing new games almost every day, like that table at the bottom. Today, you have applications like TikTok that are being developed much faster, often with new features being released daily, unlike those old methods of delivery that used to take a year or more to get to customers. This is just one example of how we ensure customers are getting the value they need when they need it.
So let's define what we mean by value. Maybe that old game product even had some design flaws, all of which could have been easily anticipated or avoided with incremental delivery, feedback, and testing. A minimum viable product, MVP, is a version of a product with just enough features to be usable by early customers who can then provide feedback for future product development.
That's right, Julian. Let me give you an example. Imagine you want to go from point A to point B, but have no transportations. The first thing you may think is that you need a new car, right? You do some research and find out that the car that you're looking will take 3 months to be built and delivered to you. Before we keep moving forward, let's clarify something. With Agile and MVP, you're not delivering smaller increments of the final product you plan to deliver. What I mean is, if that were the case, in the car example, you will deliver a tire, then an axle, then the frame, and finally the car. But if you were to deliver this way, nothing is usable until the final car is completed. This methodology provides no testable value to your customer, and as a result, you don't learn anything about how you are actually solving for the customer needs and problems. So instead of focusing on getting a new car, we should focus on getting to point B. By doing this, we can create faster value that is usable, testable, and feasible.
That's right. Let's break this down, all right? In this example, the customer needs to get to point B. That's the value. So we can start with an MVP version, such as delivering the customer a skateboard to get them to point B. But then we receive feedback that the skateboard is too slow or too much work. Based on that feedback, in our next iteration, we deliver a scooter because it's a bit faster, not as much work as a skateboard, and still gets our customer to point B, right? At another round of feedback, the customer shares that potholes are an issue on the road and it would be nice to have some shocks to lessen that impact. At this point, we may decide to deliver a motorcycle, and the cycle continues, right? The customer provides feedback again, and this time says that it would be nice to have a ride that is quieter so they can listen to music during the commute to point B. I personally like to listen to Drake or the artist Her, but that's my preference. And after several iterations, we deliver a new car that not only gets our customer to point B, which is that original value that we spoke about, but also provides custom features to make the entire experience so much better.
Drake, seriously?
Obviously.
No, as you can see through Agile and MVP, our minimal viable product, not only was the customer able to get to point B much sooner, but they end up with a car that is more uniquely suited to their needs. It's fast, has great shocks, and is super quiet so they can fully enjoy their music. All while achieving the original value of getting to point B. That's MVP, and that's Agile.
What a great concept. And when you think about value in that example, it emphasized that the value wasn't the actual car. Instead, it was helping the person to get to point B. And so in Agile, to be able to get to the concept of a minimum viable product, we use specific ceremonies that are critical to how we work and operate in an iterative, faster way. What we'll do next is William, Hassani, and I are going to introduce you to 5 Agile ceremonies. We will share the basic concepts and how to apply them to technology or work examples. And later in the workshop, we'll walk through how we can use these same ceremonies in our day-to-day lives.
Perfect. Let's get started. I cannot wait. The first one is Backlog Refinement. This is where you review your ideas and capture what elements are most important. Second one is Sprint Planning. This is where you and your team decide which things need to be delivered and when. The third is Daily Standup. This is where you share progress on today's priorities and any issues to delivering value. The fourth is Demo. This is where you showcase the work you've done. And last but not least, Retrospectives, where you take a look back and reflect on what's working well and how things can be improved in the future. Now that we reviewed them, let's see how they're actually used in a technology or work situation.
All right, great. This is going to be fun. All right, when you see this image, what does it make you think about? How many of you have heard or attended Coachella? Tell us in the chat. Have you attended Coachella, William?
No, actually, I was expecting you to invite me. Actually, it takes me back to those days. It takes me back to those days when we used to gather in person.
It sure does. I'm sure we're all looking forward to that again. Well, it looks like some of you are familiar and others aren't, and that's okay. I'll explain. Coachella is a music festival featuring countless numbers of experiences and artists such as Drake, Cardi B, Meg Thee Stallion, Kalani, Chance the Rapper, so many more.
Shameless plug. Did you know American Express partners with Coachella? We help to make that experience even more amazing by backing our customers who are American Express card members and further enhancing the experience through our Centurion Lounge.
Yeah, that's right, William. The entire Centurion Lounge is thoughtfully designed to provide our customers an added layer of VIP experience, where they can kick back in a relaxed environment, lounge in green rooms inspired by their favorite artists. They can also enjoy gourmet food, exclusive complimentary rides, and so much more. The interesting part of all of this is that to deliver that value to our customers, we use those 5 Agile ceremonies that you spoke about earlier and that we're talking about throughout the rest of this session. So let's take a deeper look at these agile methods and tools and see how we use them to ultimately deliver the best value to our customers. Let's start with backlog refinement.
Thanks, Asani. Great. Let's talk about backlog refinement. This is where you review your ideas and capture what elements are most important. Most of these ideas usually come from brainstorming sessions. The backlog refinement process allows us to ensure that we end up with only those ideas and items that will deliver the most value to our customers. We ask questions such as, is it clear how the idea delivers the desired value? Or what is needed for this idea to be successful? Or how would you test the idea?
Well, in the Coachella example, the backlog refinement goal was to deliver the most value possible for our customer. In the Lex box, it shows a variety of ideas, such as having a multi-purpose wristband that could flash green to grant backstage access, or they can be used to make payments at the bar or to help you find networking opportunities. We could try and do them all, but realistically, we may only be able to do one. So which one is the most realistic and the most impactful so it can be delivered within the time constraints? In this application example, choosing the lounge access and bar credits seems to be the most realistic and impactful, as our customer don't like to carry cash, but also want very quick access to the lounge without lining up.
I mean, who likes lines, right? This would certainly make it so much more valuable already for me. Where do I sign up?
Exactly, Hassani. Backlog refinement allows us to really focus on those things that can provide the most and fastest value to customers like you.
And now that we have prioritized our most important ideas, we next need to plan when the work needs to be done so we can deliver in the most efficient way. This is what we call sprint planning. This is where you and your team decide which things need to be delivered and when, and always keeping in mind what will bring the most value to our customers. In this ceremony, we need to consider how much time we have, what our budget is, and how ready our technology is to deliver the idea. It is important to keep in mind we generally don't move on to the new work until we finish what we have already committed to. So let's see how that translates into our Coachella product application example.
Thanks, Julian. So we decided that creating a wristband that provides access to the Sanctuary Lounge and be able to pay for drinks without getting in lines would provide the most value. So as you can see in this image in sprint one, and by the way, a sprint is the development world, in the development world is considered 2 weeks. So in the first 2 weeks, we might place certain things that are easier to accomplish or more valuable for us to deliver earlier on in the process. In this case, it is important to start with discovery, which would involve the research to find a vendor for the wristband. In sprint 2, we can look at enabling the payment and so on. And like Julian said, we generally don't move on the next sprint until everything's completed.
That's right. So now that we have planned our actions, we can move into the daily stand-up. And this is where you share progress on today's priorities and discuss any issues to delivering value. This creates transparency and awareness on what is happening every day. Here we ask 3 questions. What did you do yesterday? What are you going to do today? And do you have any roadblocks or need any help? So let's look at our Coachella example.
Thanks, Julian. In the daily stand-up, the Coachella and Amex team reports that the wristband material has been ordered. Today, the priority is to design the payment mechanism to link the existing CAT members to the Coachella app and the wristband. However, we have a roadblock. The team must do the data integration, but that usually takes 2 days, and now they need it in real time. As you can see in this example, we review the work in progress in a visual way, like this board, the slide.
And as we begin to develop things, you want to take some time to showcase the work you've done. This is what we call the demo. This is an important step in completing a sprint because it provides an opportunity to get stakeholders excited and gather feedback before the next iteration. Another reason to have a demo is just to celebrate the work that has been done. Even if we don't capture an extensive amount of feedback, it is a reason to celebrate what has been progressed.
Okay, back to our Coachella wristband example. Today, we want to demo the wristband registration process that can easily be done from any phone. Also, we have created a very cool promo video that shows how to dispose of the wristband after the event is over. We will not want to have any later run, right? And the last demo shows a prototype of the report showing the number of active wristband users.
Okay. Those that know me know that I love numbers, so I can't wait to see that report. I guess Julian was right. Demos really do get people excited.
Yes, and last but not least, the retrospective. Here's where we come together as a team to discuss what went well and what did not go so well over the course of the last sprint. This provides the team an opportunity to consider what might be done in the future to improve the quality and speed of work being delivered.
That's right, Julian. So in our examples for Coachella, what went well was that we received some really good feedback from our customers. We were able to test the idea and got some stellar reviews. But what didn't go well was the fact that we didn't consider the data dependency early enough. And that created significant delays in our timeline, which caused a bit of stress to the team. In the future, what we will do different is to test the payment solution much sooner. This might even be one of the first things we do.
You know, I cannot wait to have access to that wristband, William. This technology application overview really made it super simple to see how using these Agile ceremonies can really help teams deliver faster and better products to our customers. And on top of that, provide their teams the autonomy and clear direction for the work that they do.
Exactly. So now that we went over all the 5 ceremonies, we want you to think how this will look like in day-to-day life. Out of the 5 ceremonies, which practice do you use in your daily life? Backlog refinement, sprint planning, daily stand-up, demo, or even retro? Use the chat to submit your answer.
I think I use retro a lot. I like to reflect on what's gone well and how I can improve both in work and in life. Seeing some things come in on the chat. Do you guys use backlog refinement in order to put a wish list together of everything that you want to do when you think about certain experiences in your life or getting a new project, or even to figure out what's your next step in your career? Or do you use sprint planning on Sunday night for those things that you want to have accomplished by the end of the week? Are you doing daily stand-ups, for instance? Maybe you meet with your team every morning to check on what you're going to do for the day. Yeah, so it looks like some answers are coming in, and this is super cool to see some of you already practicing some of these principles.
So now that you learn how it is applied at work, let's have some fun and bring it all back to an imaginary life example with a virtual Coachella trip. Here's a group of friends that have decided they want to attend Coachella and make some lifelong memories. So in this case, experiencing Coachella is the value. We're about to go onto this journey with this group of friends and use our 5 Coachella ceremonies to ultimately achieve a real awesome experience at Coachella. So Hassani, why don't you introduce us to our friends?
Sure, William. All right, let's start with Ronnie. She's a bit of a hipster, and she's probably going to go to most of the independent stages Or if she does go to the really popular stages, she'll be the one person who knew about those bands way before they were popular. I think we all have a friend like this, right? Next, we have Curtis, who is an extremely severe case of FOMO, fear of missing out. He's the guy that's going to probably want to try to go to every single stage possible and eat everything that he can at the festival, just to experience the whole thing to its fullest. And then we have Carmen, the really artsy one. She'll probably want to go and check out all the cool experiences and art exhibits and installations that Coachella has to offer. And last but not least is Troy, who thrives on structure. I consider myself a Troy, so I can relate. Troy is the friend with the plan down to the very minute detail. He knows how long it takes to walk to the bathroom and the food vendor to attendee ratio. He is most interested in having a very structured experience at Coachella.
It's funny because the way you describe them remind me of some of my fractured friends and makes this example even more real. This is going to be fun. But for this activity to work, we're going to need everyone's participation. So be sure to get ready to put your answers in the chat. Okay, Asani, walk us through.
All right, let's get ready. Okay, and I can see myself coming along with these 4 friends too, William, by the way. And I hope you do too, because we're all going to experience this journey together. Let's get started. All right, you just booked your ticket to Coachella and you want the best experience possible. What should you be most focused on in your backlog? A, the stage the artist is performing on. B, meeting new people. C, trying new food. D, visiting art installations. E, staying together. F, the locations of the restrooms. Go to that chat window and let us know what you would choose to do. I feel like we need Jeopardy music, William, while people are typing in the chat.
Of course, like music. Okay, as we wait for the answers to come in the chat, here are some things you may want to think about. If you were one of these friends going to Coachella for the first time, what would be the things that you would be thinking about when you were putting together your wish list? What's probably be the most important thing that you want to think about?
You know, for me, I would consider myself maybe part of that FOMO crowd. You know, I don't want to miss out on anything. Or maybe I would probably prioritize experiencing all the new artists that I hadn't heard of before. This is interesting. It looks like locations of the restroom is coming in ahead of everybody by a landslide. Obviously, I'm kidding, right? Actually, if you think about it, William, there's not a right or wrong answer for this question. It's more about thinking what would bring the most value to your experience. Now that we figured out the most important thing, let's move on to sprint planning. All right, so let's go all the way up, fast forward in our story, and we've officially arrived at Coachella. Now you are looking at the next 3 days. What criteria should you prioritize in your sprint planning? We know we need to make a plan that will help us accomplish as many things as possible, so it's critical to look at what criteria is most essential in planning. You could be restricted by where the artists are playing, and you're thinking about how far the stages are away from each other and how long the bands are playing for. Maybe you agree with Curtis's concern about the locations of the restrooms, or maybe you're thinking about things like budget. Go to the chat and let us know what you would vote for.
Okay, I'm starting to see a pattern here. But, you know, in my opinion, locations of the restaurants probably will not fall in my list. But technically, you know, it could be all of the above.
That's right, William, it wouldn't be on my list either, but you can really think about all of the above, because as you're planning those 3 days, you probably want to be thinking about the distance between the stage and the timing of the bands and how the nitty-gritty details can affect your whole experience at Coachella. I think for me, because I consider myself a part of that fear of missing out crowd, I would probably prioritize the distance between the stages and the timing of the bands. I would be pretty disappointed if I missed out on really cool artists only because I wasn't able to make it there on time. All right, so let's move on to day 2. And in Standup, our group of friends basically just realized that Curtis is missing, right? They gathered around to their stand-up and noticed that Curtis wasn't there. All we know is that he left the group the previous night to go find some hand sanitizer, and we haven't seen him since. They now have a problem, right? With Curtis missing, how will that change what's done today and what challenges we're going to choose to resolve? Again, please visit that chat function and share what you would do. Could you, drop your plans and go find Curtis? B, you could forget about your plans until next year. C, you can go find a new friend. or you could follow the original plan, or D, possibly, maybe you could both do A and C, drop the plans, go find Curtis and find a new friend.
Right. If I was at Coachella, I think I would be interested in seeing a lot of new artists. So maybe I could join a team like for Curtis and along the way explore everything Coachella has to offer. Maybe by then Curtis is back. What will you do, Asani?
What would I do? I mean, I'd probably do both. I mean, A, drop my plans and find Curtis because real friends don't leave friends behind, William. And then C, find a new friend because, hey, the more the merrier, right? All right, so moving on. So after 3 days, Curtis finally shows up. Now it's time for a demo. Curtis has a bunch of stuff that he wants to showcase over the last 3 days, and probably you guys have some stuff that you want to showcase too. So what would be the most useful thing that may help you iterate on your plans, right? A, do you want to see Centurion Lounge with backstage access? Or B, do you want to see a video with the team crying, thinking Curtis was lost? Or C, the demo of the best restroom, perhaps? Or D, footage of Curtis meeting Chance the Rapper? Or E, all of the above? Submit your answers in the chat and we'll see what comes back.
I may be biased, but I definitely would love to see the Centurion Lounge, which includes the backstage access. It's like getting 2 for the price of 1. Plus, I've heard the food is so good. You can beat that.
I think I'm biased too, William. I mean, the Centurion Lounge is definitely a must to check out if you are at Coachella. Okay, let's see what everyone else thinks. It's starting to look like you guys were pretty interested in seeing demo footage of Curtis meeting Chance the Rapper. The demo sounds pretty cool, right? All right, so moving on. Well, it's been a memorable week. Obviously, you saw a lot of new artists, you ate a lot of food, you experienced a lot of really, really cool stuff along the way. You lost a friend, and your friend found some hand sanitizer and met Chance the Rapper, right? So when we think about the retro, you review what went well, what didn't go well, and what should change for the next time. The retro is an opportunity to recap the idea that if we're going to go back next year, we're going to need to change something to make it even more enjoyable, right? So tell us what you would vote for the next year. A, would you leave Curtis at home next time? B, get an Amex card so that you can access that lounge. C, you could maybe have a less rigid schedule. Or D, maybe just bring a phone battery bank. So if Curtis' phone dies, at any given point in time, you can always make sure that you can reach him while he's off wandering around, finding hand sanitizer, meeting Chance the Rapper.
I don't know about you, William, but I think instead of having to carry a batter bank, I would rather just get access to the Centurion Lounge, where you can recharge your phone and while enjoying some of the cool experiences they have.
You know what? I was just going to say the same thing, Julian. I would definitely get an Amex card so I can get access to all the cool perks that come with having the exclusive access. And maybe I get to meet Chance the Rapper without having to be wandering around like Curtis. And all of that because of having access to the Centurion Lounge. Hopefully, the example we've walked through helps connect the dots and help you see how you are already living some of these examples in your life. You can apply this very same concept to your startups or how you can plan your week or how you change your plans after a bad week. Keep asking yourself why you can use them. Or if you use them to get your next Amex job, well, wink, wink. Whatever you decide to deliver value to your customers, we hope you jump right in and use an agile mindset and methods.
I just have to reemphasize whether or not you get your next Amex job, right? We totally would love to have you guys here at American Express. So that's right, William. So we want to ask you guys one more question. Previously, we asked which one do you see yourself using, but now we want to know which ceremony could you use more of in your projects or in your life? Tell us in the chat. Do you think you could use more backlog refinement to put together a wish list for things that you want to do or things that are most important for you? Or sprint planning and ultimately better schedule things to have shorter increments for your weeks or maybe even daily stand-ups where you're being more and more intentional about what you do every day. Or maybe you want to just do more demos of your own life. And maybe that's just sharing your lessons and learning from various projects or sharing photos from different experiences. Whatever it is, if you are not already, you can begin to start with any of these principles today?
With that said, it's been an incredible experience for us to share this time with you. We definitely appreciate being able to speak with you about a few of the things that we are very passionate about. I know for me, Agile is not only the way we work at American Express, but it is a concept that truly work to incorporate into my life in a very practical way.
And as we wrap up, we just want to invite you to give us a shout out on all of our social channels and share what you've learned today on all of your social channels, or connect with us on LinkedIn. But most importantly, now that you guys are all in the Agile mindset and you're ready to be Agile or live in an Agile way in both work and in life, scan the QR code right now and check out our career page. We hope to see you someday joining our Amex family and be a part of helping us create new and innovative ways to deliver value for our customers. It's been an honor to present to you at Afrotech, and we hope that you'll apply for positions because we'd love to have you on board. Thank you.